Hello, and happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the Progress Report. I'm your host, Dion Sage. And let's just say I am feeling renewed, revived, and restored. If you've been on my Facebook page lately, you know I just got back from my church's conference. And yes, I'm not ashamed to say that. I do go to church. I love going to church. I love God, period. And I went out to Indianapolis, had a great time. But we'll talk about that some other time, probably on Coffee with D, y'all. But I'm so excited today, to be honest with you. I get a chance to sit down and talk to three individuals that I got to talk to last month, and they get to see me with a little bit more energy than I had last time because I was pretty tired last time. However, before I do talk to those three individuals, and yes, they are the folks from the inner circle, and you know they welcomed me to the circle last month, and now I get to welcome them to the Progress Report this month, and that is Charlie Barron, Ivan Montoya, Melanie I'm going to say that wrong. Martrich. Did I say it right? Nod. No, you can correct me. Listen, when you come on, Melanie, because I see it from behind the scenes, everyone, when you come on, please correct me so I get it right. I want to get names right. Because at the end of the day, that's how we do it. So before I bring them on, though, I do have a few things I want to talk about. Well, not a few. One big thing. Texas. Texas, come on. So Texas, I don't know if you heard, their Senate voted 18-4 to drop the teaching requirement that the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, is morally wrong. Meaning they don't want to teach that at all. They along within this bill, they don't want to teach about Dr. Martin Luther King. They don't want to teach critical race theory or anything like that. They don't want that part of their curriculum. Mind you, about a month ago, they put in a bill to talk about that teaches kids the importance of slavery. I'm trying to collect myself because there's a couple of words that I want to say that would not behoove me at all or make me look good in any light. Texas, you have to be kidding me. Seriously, okay, we understand that you were the last ones to get to emancipate the slaves after the Emancipation Proclamation on June 19th, 1965. We totally understand that. But June 19th, 1865 was a very long time ago. Very long time ago. And you want to teach the importance of slavery in this country? We're trying to move past those type of things. We're trying to move completely past them, but yet you have senators like this one right here. Let me get his name. Matter of fact, his name's not important, to be honest with you, because I don't even want to give him clout. Like you're not important for anybody to be in a elected position and make this statement that the KKK is morally wrong and slavery is somehow morally right. Should not be in public office. Should not even qualify for public office. Like. Come on, America. And for anybody that literally thinks this, you have a problem and you need mental help. So I urge you, see a therapist, take some medication, take the pill that you're supposed to take, because this is not it at all. At all. Like here we are in the midst of everything that's going on, Black Lives Matters, all this information out there. We've had a Black president. It just baffles me at this point that people still follow people like this. And so I urge like everyone to literally write Texas, everyone across the country. If you have a peace of mind, if you have common sense, you have common decency, if you are a human being, begin writing these senators in Texas. I'm actually planning on writing an open letter myself because when I read that, I was ticked off. Grinded my gears. And it should grind your gears too. If not, you have to question yourself. Am I a racist? But all that said, we're going to have a lovely show today. I can't wait to talk to these three individuals. Kind of a light show a little bit today. And so I would like to welcome from the inner circle, Charlie, Ivan, and Mel. Hello.
What's up?
What up?
It is so good to see the three of you.
It is nice to see you again, and thank you for having us on the progress report. It's a little different being on this side of the end. So, but thank you so much for having us, and it's nice to see you again.
Now you know how I felt. And there was three of you then, you know. So
I know. This time it feels nice because it's a little more laid back. Like on our end, it's more laid back and more like like we're not worried about content or what we have to like talk about and stuff like that. So it feels nice to be on this side of it. It just feels a little different for right now.
So is there anything new going on with you?
With myself?
With no, any of you. You can popcorn style it. Anyone can answer.
Well, with the inner circle, as we were talking about prior to the show, we have our episodes every Wednesday. Tomorrow we're doing something cool, which we're cooking live for the first time. We're going Rachel Ray style. So we're excited about that. Yeah. So bring your drinks and your appetite. But one of the biggest things that we're really excited about, and that's coming up August 14th, is our live show. So that's very cool. Our first ever live podcast episode. So we're really excited about that. So a lot of planning with that. So that's what's going on with the inner circle right now. We're looking forward to that. And hopefully we see your face there too.
Yes, we will definitely be there on August 14th. And make sure you guys email me the flyer so we can definitely put it in the lineup for commercials and things like that. Mel, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
You looking radiant as
My
ever.
last name is Martich.
Martich.
See,
you know what? I should have asked you that. I should have asked you that before the show, and I didn't. Because my producer.
It's okay. No one ever gets it right, so it's fine. But you were super close, so it's fine.
I'm glad I was super close. I'm glad I was super. I was looking at it like. So, tell us about the inner circle. How did you guys get started, and why, and what keeps you guys getting up every Wednesday to do it?
So it actually started because obviously we all live like far away, me from them. There's a couple miles between us, so we don't really get to see each other, so we usually just talk through text or through like the phone or something like that. So, and with quarantine, we were like, hey, why don't we just share these conversations that we're having amongst ourselves and just share with everybody and get people to basically join in on the conversation with us. It was during a time where quarantine was going on and nobody was able to go out or anything like that. No clubs or anything like that. So people spent most of their time looking for content or stuff to watch on their phones. So we were like, hey, let's join everybody in on the conversation that we normally have.
Right. So you guys started just like I did in the midst of a pandemic. How was the pandemic? How was it for you? Like in the beginning, like let's talk a little bit about that, because there's a chance we might be in another pandemic. So like, is there something we learned from the first one that we can apply to the next one? I guess that's kind of where I'm going with that question, though.
Go ahead, Melanie.
Well, I know what I'm going to apply. Fitness. Anyway, so at first it started off as doing like little Zoom parties. Like everyone was doing like happy hour Zooms, and that's what we started. And then it evolved to like making it more like a podcast where we discuss our topics. One thing that we all have in common is that we're all millennials, and we wanted to put it in the perspective of a millennial. I think millennials get a lot of brunt, like they're like not the forgotten, but we're the ones that are often imitated, never duplicated by Gen Z. So we wanted to put it in the perspective of us. and how like everything going on right now is affecting us. So that's what we did, and we've had a lot of fun doing it so far. And if we do have another pandemic, we'll just have more time in our hands to create like more content.
You know what? You know what? That's what I said. If there's another pandemic, I have enough time to sit down and plan my strategy and continue doing all this, because I personally, I've had fun. You know, when I started with Coffee with D, I had a lot of fun doing Coffee with D, and you know, every day I was there on live and I was responding to people's comments and things like that. Family people still like when I do it for some strange reason, so I do it sporadically now. But when I started doing this, you know, it started out just I wanted to talk to just politicians, but then I said to the team, and we discussed it. I said, why don't we start like branching out to other people? It can't just you know. Don't get me wrong, politics is our base here and community activism is our base here, but also there's people doing things, great things all across the internet. How do we connect with that, and how do we highlight that in a way? And you guys have kind of done that. Charlie, what are some ways that the inner circle has like innovated doing this type of thing? Like,
for me, I've always had the itch though. Before even the pandemic, I've always had the itch of entertaining, sharing, connecting. And I think on my end, I think the pandemic really just pushed. I feel like 2020 for many people pushed us in different ways. Whether for us was the podcast, and finally that push of something I've always wanted to do, or for other people, whether it's fitness or that move or whatever. I think it pushed us to go beyond our fears. So for me, in a way, I'm thankful for the pandemic. I'm thankful, you know, in a way, there's many, you know, I've always said this since last year, there's good and there's bad. But I looked at what the good that came out of 2020.
you know, same. So I want to jump. Oh, sorry, Ivan.
Oh no, I was gonna add to that just because you brought up a point about, you know, like politicians and all that other stuff. We kind of wanted to stay away from that because especially 2020 was so politic heavy. Like everywhere you turn was politics, and we said let's take people away from that for an hour at least to just enjoy something else. That's why we play a lot of games in on our show. We talk about a lot of hot topics, and we talk about stuff that's like fun and stuff that's like take their mind away from politics. You know, I feel like politics has divided everybody and has made everybody mad at each other. And even though we are three different individuals and we have three different point of views, like this is what connects us, like these different topics, these different other things. Let's focus on that instead of focusing on what separates us, like politically, and let's focus on the things that just unite us and things that we can find in common with one another.
Right. You know, and it's crazy because I also myself, like even when it comes to politics, you know, I get a lot of flack because I do have some conservative friends. I do have some Republican friends, and you know, I'll be honest, I'm a Democrat, I'm a liberal, and well, more so progressive than a liberal. But you know, I do have friends who, and I, you know, have their that are conservatives, liberals, and you know, I try to find common ground a lot when I'm talking with them out and things like that. And then when I'm talking about politics, I have to remember, you know what, everybody has a different like lived experience, right? You know, everybody comes from different backgrounds. So I think sometimes we have to take that into consideration. It's when it becomes disrespectful discussion, for me, that's when it becomes a problem. Period.
Right.
But I know you guys like hot topics, so I got a couple of hot topics for you today. So MJ Rodriguez is from Pose, has been nominated for an Emmy. I said Emmy. Ha ha ha. An Emmy. She is the first openly trans person to be nominated. Do you think this is a start for more representation for the transgender community in film awards?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Definitely.
I think representation is everything. So I feel like, you know, it opens the doors for other trans, you know, actresses or anybody. So I feel like any type of exposure, or like I said when I first started talking, that representation is everything. So
Right.
I think it's great, and I think, yeah, good for her. And I think she's the first, but she definitely won't be the last now.
Exactly. Yeah, I think little by little, step by step, we've seen it with in the past, maybe gay directors or gay actors, Billy Porter. Now we have other now transgender. So step by step, and like Ivan said, she definitely won't be the last one, but we're happy to see it. So congrats to MJ Rodriguez. Love Pose, love MJ. So
Yes, I love
excited.
Pose.
Yeah.
Mel, how do you feel about that?
I'm really happy that she got nominated. I really hope that she wins the Emmy. That would be monumental. I also think that trans men actors should also be nominated as well. There's a really good show that I just finished watching called Good Girls, and there was actually a trans actor who was only like 10 years old.
Wow.
So it would be great if, as a child, he got nominated as well. So it's a good step in the direction. It just needs to be executed, because a nomination is like the stepping stone, but it's not the end all.
That's true.
So, like, for me, like, definitely, first I loved MJ Rodriguez's performance as Blanca in Pose. Period. I consider myself a Blanca / Electra. It depends on the day. Okay. Depends if you know what I mean? Like, it depends, like if I want to be motherly and like hug you and push you to succeed, or no, you tried me, so I need to read you real quick. You know what I mean? And that's when I turn into an Electra.
Maybe
what-
we needed like a trans like superhero, like some kind, or maybe like a trans to play like a superhero, like maybe like a Mystique or something, or a Storm like that. To get like a trans to play one of those, that definitely be like monumental, I think.
Dominique would be amazing as Storm. Have you seen the memes, Dion, like on social media, like that, like made kind of airbrush Dominique, who played Mother Pose, into Storm. That would be a good concept.
Storm is my favorite character too. Like in X-Men, that she's. I mean, yeah, because she was the most powerful woman of color in Marvel. She is the most powerful woman of color in Marvel, and she's, I think, in many ways, she's more powerful than a lot of the X-Men, except for Jean when she turns into the Phoenix, because she just goes crazy. Like, she goes crazy.
Phoenix.
I ain't got time for the Phoenix at all. Like, at all. Like, if I was an X-Men and I came across a Phoenix, I'm just gonna turn around and walk away. It's that simple. I'm just gonna go the opposite way, not even deal with that. But congratulations to MJ Rodriguez. We hope there are more nominations here for the Emmys and Oscars and things like that to come for you, because at the end of the day, like, her performance was amazing. Like, I mean, Pose was amazing. I was crying. I've only watched the first two seasons. I haven't watched the third season. I've cried at so many episodes. So.
Oh, you're gonna cry a lot during the end. It's a lot. Yeah. I'm not saying anymore.
I'm not ready. On that note, we have to go to commercial, our first commercial. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. I'm talking to Mel, Ivan, and Charlie from the Inner Circle, and say hello to everybody out there. Before we go to our next segment, I just somebody said hi, and I want to tell you who said hi. I believe it was Jay. Yep, it was Jay Diaz.
Hey.
He said hello. He said, "Love my circle peeps," and
what up, Jay?
And he's, everybody's responding. We got a couple of responses. Somebody asked the question, what does the Progress Channel incorporates? How do you think you impart on society in this area? Ramon Williams, I'm not sure how to answer that right now. How about this? After the show, I will reread that one and definitely get back to you on it. But the Progress Channel, I'll just tell you this much: we have become a community entity pretty fast here in Rhode Island. We set up the flag raisings all across. It was our executive producer Ken Barber who wrote the 39 cities and towns, including the governor's office, about the flag raising and raising the flag and about Pride Month. And Pride was not active during that time. My team worked really hard to make sure we had small celebrations, and anyone that was having a celebration and planned a celebration, we worked really hard to support them. We also advocated for Juneteenth, the Juneteenth flag to be raised at City Hall in Providence, and that's something that I wholeheartedly believe in, period. We will always be a community entity that works with the community, and also gives back to we're an entity that is willing to give back to the community where it's needed. So I hope that answers your question. But I have a little game for you guys, because last time you guys made me play the game, that game. And no, I'm not going to allow you guys to critique my fashion. Right? Although right now, I'll be honest, since I have clothes everywhere from traveling and things like that, and I was like, man, I feel like I'm really dressing down. And don't get me wrong, I got my sweater on, so I just put a black t-shirt on and a sweater on.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know what to wear either, but I was like, the room where I film, there's no AC, there's no air, so it's like I could not wear layers or anything like that. I'd be sweating in here. So I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta be comfortable.
Listen, wear what you have to wear. I have 2 fans blowing on me right now.
I got no fans. I'm sweating.
2 fans, actually 3. I have a ceiling fan and one on the left and one on the right, and there we go. All right. All right. So we have a little game I want to play with y'all, and it's called Who Said It? I like the graphics. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
We haven't had graphics. That's the first time we had. Tell me how y'all like the graphics. All
right.
right.
I like it. I was like, okay, all right.
Well, I seen your graphics and I said, you know what? I really like that. And I said, I'm going to kind of borrow that. So,
Yeah, no, definitely. It looks good.
And so I'm not ready for this game because it gave away what. Now I'm ready for this game because it gave a sneak peek of what it's like. So
yeah.
I'm excited. Nervous but excited.
All right. So this game is called Who Said It? And I'm going to ask you a question. And I'll give you a multiple choice answer. And I want you to guess who said it. Ready? So the first question is, this is about the White House. I don't know whether it is the finest public housing in America or the crown jewel of the American penal system.
Do we have options?
Was it A, Bill Clinton, B, Donald Trump, or C, Jimmy Carter?
Sounds like Jimmy.
You think it sounds like Jimmy? It sounds like Donald.
Jimmy?
I'm gonna go with Jimmy.
You all gonna go with Jimmy?
No, I said Donald.
No, he said Donald Trump. Me and Melanie said.
Okay, so we have 2 Jimmys, 1 Donald Trump, and it was Bill Clinton actually who said it.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Not Bill.
I didn't know that either. If I didn't have the answer right here in front of me, I wouldn't have known.
I
that.
only remember him denying not having sexual relations with that woman.
God, you said that.
Right? That's all I remember.
I did not
First of
have
all, I
sexual
did not.
relationships with that woman.
We would have guessed that one.
Then whose shit is this? Whose shit is this on my sweater? It definitely ain't mine. It definitely ain't mine.
That ain't.
All right.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. All right.
It is hot. And
I
this
need to
wine
get
is
one
kicking,
right.
and I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty.
Oh, you know what? Just think cool thoughts. Like think like Alaska, or they say Antarctica's cold too. I don't know because nobody's ever really lived there, so I don't know. But question 2. When you see the other side chopping off heads, waterboarding does not sound very severe. Was it A, George W. Bush, B, Barack Obama, or C, Donald Trump?
Ooh.
No brainer.
I think it's A
Trump.
or C. I think it's A or C.
Gotta pick one, Ivan.
I'm gonna go with A. I'm gonna go with A.
Okay,
I'm
Ivan
gonna
says
go
A.
with C.
C. Charlie
C,
and
C.
no, right, it is C. Donald Trump said that.
I know it was him. I was gonna pick him.
You know, the crazy thing is, I was about to read it in his voice. I haven't done the voice in a long time, so I feel like since 2 got it right, I can do it. So he would say, "When you see the other side chopping up heads, waterboarding doesn't sound very severe."
That's good. I like that.
That is good. That is good.
Give me a
That is
little
good.
Vivian
That was
from
real good.
RuPaul's
If I would have
Drag
closed
Race.
my eyes, I'm like,
Okay.
holy shit. Is he is he at press conference right now?
I have not, and mind you, I haven't done that in a long time. I've not done the Donald Trump voice in such a long time. So number 3, one of the things I'm accused of is not caring about people. A, George W. Bush, B, Joe Biden, or C, Donald Trump.
I want to say it's
That
A.
sounds like Roosevelt.
A. I'm gonna say A.
I
He
want
probably
to say,
did say that. Roosevelt probably did say that.
yeah, I want to say B, Biden.
Okay.
Yep.
I said A.
Charlie?
I said A.
Me and Charles said A.
Both of you said A?
Yeah.
It was C again. It was Donald Trump.
Ah,
Oh damn.
we gotta break this tie. Me and Melanie are tied.
One of the things I'm accused of is not caring about people.
But I did. I sent you stimulus checks for the first time in your
Every
life.
day. I sent you stimulus checks. I've done this. I've done that.
Now that you're saying it in his voice, now
I could
like it's a
see it now.
no-brainer. It was
I could
him.
see it. I could be like, yeah. I could be like, yeah, he could.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. As a comedian, like, and I know a lot of my friends are about to get mad about that. They say all of my Trump hating friends. Mind you, I don't like. I'm not a Trump fan at all. But I do miss him having a Twitter. I thoroughly miss him having a Twitter. And here's why. As someone who finds comic relief in everything that's going on, like his Twitters they were the best. His tweets were the best. His Twitter feed was the best. Like, I'm pretty sure Twitter lost a lot of money after they deleted his account. I understand why people got hurt.
So did the news, the media. Like now that they
Yeah.
don't have anything, you know, they were always like putting him on there.
But yeah, so next.
That's the first time I see something like just pop up, and I'm like, oh wow, what is that? I have
Right,
like ADHD,
exactly.
and I'm
Like
like a
my
cat.
favorite was when
Like,
he
what
would
was that?
have like a 3-paragraph tweet, and he'll write like the first paragraph and then go dot 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 and then start dot 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 and then go on again and then dot 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 dot. Like that was my favorite. It's like, dude, like what were you doing at 3 a.m.?
I don't know.
Like, why? But
I've tried getting into Twitter. I just didn't. I couldn't really get. Well, before now I probably do.
I'm
But
back on Twitter now that he's gone.
the whole hashtag, and then you write like a whole different thing.
no, so you're happy he's
Yeah,
gone?
no. I enjoy myself way more now that he's gone. There's less anger in Twitter when people are tweeting. But
Yeah.
that's for another day.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. I understand. You know, there is a lot more anger, but I mean, he would say things and tweet things. As someone who was big on comedy in college and theater, just.
Oh yeah, he at least
When I
did
want to
get the
listen to comedy, I won't go on his Twitter. I will put some Queens of Comedy, some more, and some Monique.
Listen, Samore is the girl. When it comes to Queens of Comedy, Samore is like the girl, like hands down. I look forward to like listening to Samore. I think she's the funniest because the things that she says, and I respect her because I watched one of her stand-up specials and she was talking about how like people call her out for not doing like as many movies. They're like, oh, we haven't seen you in a while. Like, why haven't done any movies? And she said she never wanted to be an actress. Her sister Nina Long is the actress. She said, I never want to be an actress. She said, fashion and comedy was her thing, So
she's actually gonna have a show, I think, in October here in New York with Mike Epps.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that.
Nice.
We should go.
Let me know when. Like,
Melanie with the secrets. Wait until we get out live to tell
time,
everybody.
like,
Come on, Melanie.
I'll show up for some more and Mike Epps. That
letting
would
us
be funny.
know or something. She's over here letting us know on live.
I'll send you guys the information. We'll make.
I've seen her live once before. She's very funny. I've seen her in Boston.
And I haven't been in New York in years, so we'll make a night out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been in New York. We'll make a night.
I'm trying to get Ivan over here too.
Yes.
You know what, Ivan? Let's do it. We can head down together.
Me and Dion are in the same city, and you guys are in the same city. We'll
figure it out.
The trip.
All right.
Yeah.
I have one more. I have one more. I lost track of who's winning so far, by the way.
Me.
No.
I don't think you.
Me and Charlie are tied.
I don't think I answered none of them right.
Okay. So you can either get a point and tie all three of them right now, or one of them can take the lead or still tie.
I like that. Let's go with that.
Ready? So if you can kick the person in the pants responsible for the most of your trouble, you won't sit for a month. Was it A, George Washington, B, Teddy Roosevelt, or C, honest Abraham Lincoln?
Ooh, I was like, please don't say Donald Trump.
Not honest.
That's what they called him. I don't know if he was honest or not. But.
I think it was Roosevelt because didn't he have a walking problem?
Okay, there's one.
I'm gonna go with B.
B, okay.
I'm going with Roosevelt.
All three of you are right.
I set the trend.
My 1 point I tied, but then they got.
No, that's two and one. So, let me think of a quote quickly off the top of my head for the tiebreaker. Might not be a political quote. I can't think of one.
It's okay. Everybody wins. We all win. Congratulations, everyone.
How are you gonna say everybody wins and you only got 1 point, bro?
Right?
Exactly.
Because I'm trying to win too. I'm a sore loser. I'm not trying to leave here a loser. I'm like, no, we all tie. Everybody wins. I'm not one during Monopoly when I know I'm losing. I'm like, throw the board over. I'm like, we all win. We all win. That's it. We all won. Let's go to bed. It's late.
My little brother used to do that. But we have to go to our next commercial. So everybody grab your drinks, grab some water, soda, coffee, whatever you're drinking, and come back.
KIKIpedia, your online guide to LGBTQ plus bars, clubs, and events. Find all the tea on your local gay bars. Home of the internet's most comprehensive digital drag show and virtual event guide. Visit KIKIpedia.app or dragstreams.com now!
Hello, welcome back. If you're just joining in, I'm here with the Inner Circle. I'm here with Ivan, Mel, and Charlie from the Inner Circle. It's great to have them. So far, it's gotten a little spicy, a little dicey. But now, like, we're gonna get into like some of the meat of our conversation, and I just want to get your opinion on a few things. So, the first question I have to ask is the New Jersey governor candidate Jack. I can't pronounce his name, was caught on camera making some outlandish claims to a crowd at the Tactical Training Center gun store. He said, and I quote, when I'm governor, you won't have to deal with it. But don't teach gender identity and sexual orientation to kindergartens," he said. "In the 6th grade, we don't teach sodomy. And we're going to push back on the LGBTQ curriculum. It goes too far." So the question is, and I'm confused, what is the LGBTQ curriculum for schools? And the reason why I ask that question is because, you know, I've been hearing this a lot, is that there's a curriculum, there's an agenda, there's a gay agenda to make the kids gay. When I don't see that as an educator, or nor do I see that as a gay man. Ivan, what is the gay curriculum?
I was gonna ask you that. I'm like, I did not know there's a gay curriculum. But yeah, a curriculum is when there's steps for you to teach somebody something. I have never heard of a LGBTQ curriculum. I mean, is there one available out there? I've never heard of one.
I don't think
know,
there's
like,
an exact curriculum, but I think it's what we're trying, as being progressive, we're trying to teach, you know, about, okay, just like in the past with, you know, Black History Month and all that, we're trying to be progressive and teach, you know, LGBTQ issues. But I do agree, kindergarten, 1st grade, I mean, I think it's true. Are we talking about what is it? Sodomy?
He's
That
asking.
early? You know what I mean? It goes back to health. I think we had this conversation on our show not too long ago about teaching sex and health and what's too soon. So, I mean, as a gay person, I do think kindergarten, 6th and 1st grade is too soon to start teaching LGBTQ.
I mean, I don't think it's because, like, for example, if you're teaching a poem about Langston Hughes, or Langston Hughes was a gay man, it's just teaching about Langston Hughes. You know what I mean? I love Langston Hughes is my favorite poet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're teaching about Langston Hughes. That's how I look at it.
I have to pause. Langston Hughes was gay?
Yes.
There you go. You taught us something.
Oh, this is news to me.
So
he is one of my favorite poets from Harlem, from the Harlem Renaissance. I did not know he was gay.
The crazy thing is, if you go down the list of a lot of prominent writers from the Harlem Renaissance, they were gay. Norza Hairston was bisexual. James Baldwin was an openly gay activist. Bayard Rustin was the man behind the.
I like him too.
I love him.
Behind the March on Washington.
No,
you know, LGBT people have always been in society and have always affected a society for change and for the better. How can we not teach, if we're teaching history, why are we not teaching all the history? You know what I mean?
No, you're right about that. I thought you meant more of a correct, like other things, but as history and as figures thing, absolutely, I agree with you.
Well,
yeah, I agree with that as well. Like, if we're teaching about, like, okay, he was a gay man, this is what he created. Yes, I agree with that. What I don't agree with, if it's like sexualized, if we're teaching about like that, I feel like that's too young. That is something that should be anything that involves like sexual stuff should be taught at home with your parents. Mm-hmm. Education is not just from 8 to 2:30, Monday through Friday. Education is at home, and then education is in school grounds from 8 to 2:30, where you learn the basics of life and society and how the stuff works. Some education has to happen at home. So I feel like if it's going to be sexual or anything like that, or transgender or anything like that, that should be taught at home. Representation plays a big part in that. We can
let
also
me ask this question.
Go ahead.
What do we do about the children that when they go home, you know, their parents are not having that conversation, or the children who don't have parents and they're in the foster care system or live in a group home and they're not really allowed to have those type of conversations. What do we do? Mel, I see you shaking your head. What do we do with those kids? I mean, if education should, you know, in my opinion, education should be full. And I'm not saying, again, teach sex ed to a 5-year-old, but if a 5-year-old asks why their friend has 2 dads, you know, and they have nobody to teach that to them. You know, myself, if I was a kindergarten teacher, well, they have 2 dads because those are 2 people who love each other, period. You know?
Oh, no, absolutely. If a child goes up to you, that's different. A child going up to you and asking you a question, you know, there's guidance counselors in school and such. So I agree with that. Now, to have it as a whole curriculum where it's like, again, like Ivan said, if it's sexualized or whatever, that's different for me. Now, if it's teaching history of great historic gay figures, I'm for it. I agree with you in that sense. But maybe a question like you said, like transgender, something like that. Yeah, and teachers should answer it. It's one-on-one. But to teach the whole group, that's where I feel is different.
Yeah, and like I said, representation is everything. The more representation we have out there, the more we see that it's common to see 2 dads together with like kids. The more common it will be, and we don't have to have that conversation. You know, like we were talking about transgender. Like, yes, she's the first one to be nominated for an Emmy. Hopefully, she wins, and I'm pretty sure she will not be the last. That is a door opened for the community. So,
well, you know, and I keep hearing like transgender because, and the reason why I'm very sensitive when it comes to the transgender community, because I have children of mine. Children in the community who are transgender, who identify as transgender and non-binary. And so I'm very sensitive when it comes to transgender. And one of the things, and mind you, my church mother, the one I call Mama at Church in my global network, is a transgender woman. And I love her to death. I love her to death. And I love everyone to death. And we're talking, so, and I'm very, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. One thing I've learned about the transgender community is that they've always had to seek out like recognition to period. You know, they've always had to seek out recognition. They've always had to seek out being heard, being listened to. They've always had to seek that out. And, you know, as we change in society, we're going to start seeing more transgender people in jobs, important jobs, such as teaching, as doctors, as lawyers, police officers, as I believe one of our U.S. Secretaries in the president's cabinet is a transgender woman. We have a governor, I believe in Virginia, who is a transgender, who's also transgender. We're going to start seeing more of that. So, in my opinion, I think just like it was hard to teach in the beginning when they started teaching Black history, I think when it was hard to teach Black history, I think it's going to be hard to find a curriculum where we're not automatically thinking about sex. And I think the other question we have to ask ourselves sometimes is why is it automatic when we think gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, we automatically go to sex and not lifestyle?
True. That was something I was going to say just now. Because also, if you notice, children are more forthcoming now in recent times with what not their preference per se, but like they're being more vocal about feeling like they're trapped in the wrong body or feeling like they like someone of the same sex. So I don't think we should sugarcoat it. And I feel like this generation of today, kids are not as innocent. And it's like not necessarily the parents' fault, but it's also the surroundings. Right. So I don't think that we should just hide like phones. Right. So I don't think that we should be like, oh, let's hide it from them. Let them figure it out when they get home, when they're probably not getting that support system at home. I think it should be case by case. And I think that teachers should also be taught, trained in how they speak. And they're in a situation like that or in a scenario where a kid comes up to them and says, why does Billy have 2 dads and I only have one? They're able to have that discussion with them openly without there being a repercussion or them feeling like, I can't have that conversation. Go ask your mom, you know? So.
Because we also don't know.
I see what you guys are saying, but I see a difference.
I agree with everything you're saying. Back to what I was saying. Representation is everything. We need to have representation in the schools so these kids have somebody they feel comfortable to talk to. The one thing as a growing up gay man or bisexual man or lesbian girl, growing up is you feel like you have nobody to talk to. You don't want to talk to nobody because you feel like if you talk to somebody, they're gonna judge you. If you tell your parents, they might not disown you, but you always growing up, you always think the worst reaction. And let's
Mm,
say some situations when you do come out, you see your parents are very supportive, but your natural reaction as something that you're trying to suppress is always think to the negative. Is like I have nobody to talk to. So we have representation in these schools where we have an LGBT counselor or somebody that kids can be like, okay, there's somebody that I know, like even though they're not saying it, oh hey, like I'm here with rainbows and stuff like that, but I am that counselor for this community. If you need to talk to me, you can talk to me. So yes, we need to have more like representation of these people at a younger age, that so it's available to them, so these kids don't grow up very confused and be like, like and
I
and
get what
and
you
and,
mean,
and,
Ivan.
and
Like
like
hire
and like
more of
and
these
like and like
people
what
in schools.
yeah, and like what Melanie was saying, the generation nowadays is exposed to so much because of the internet.
totally. Yes.
And because and think about being a mind or a child that's growing up and trying to figure out society and life and how everything's working, and maybe I'm feeling this way, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm confused, maybe what I'm feeling is just a friendship, but maybe it's more, so there's a lot of confusing. And what you have is you have an open internet that has access to everything, that these kids have access to everything that we as adults have access to, and that can be detrimental mentally and emotionally to a lot of these kids. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like
I
the internet plays a big part in a lot of this stuff.
I agree. So I want to get to another question. I know you guys have been following this very closely. Britney Spears, she has been granted approval by a judge to have her own attorney. This is a big step for the celebrity, but I wonder if we are missing the point on this whole case. I can only imagine how many people out there are subject to um, the censorship concept, or the conservatorship. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the people holding them in are the ones actually control their access. Like, I just don't think someone should have access to control of my money. I'm a grown adult, and at a certain point, like, why do you have access to my money? So I'm pretty happy for Britney. And I'm not a Britney fan. I want to make that very clear. I am not a Britney fan, but I am a fan of human decency. And so I think that's what this boils down to, human decency. She is, I think Britney's probably around our age. She's within her 30s, probably 40 at this point. Why can't she have control of her own resources?
Yeah,
Charles can
absolutely. I
talk
mean,
first. Charles is a huge radio fan, so I
um,
love to
no,
listen on this.
absolutely. I agree. I've been following this for a while. I've been a fan since 11, since 12 years old. So I just aged myself big time right there. But no, I've been a fan since day one, and I even posted this a while ago. Britney Spears fans like me have been labeled and looked as crazy for our conspiracy theories for years. But as people that follow her so close, we knew she didn't want this. We knew she was basically kind of tricked into this. And as you said, fan aside, it's human decency. It's people, as a person, as a soul. Imagine yourself being told you don't have your own access to your own money. You
Mm-hmm.
have to ask when you go out. You have timed vacations. You're told to work. Like it's just insane. And her aside, whether it's her or anyone else, it gives me chills because it's just so messed up. Like it's like being in jail. Being in jail for mistakes that you did. As we were all, again, we are all the same age group. We all had our wild days. We all went out did certain stupid things or whatever. Are we paying for it and being locked in a conservatorship? She was just magnified, like, because she was a celebrity. I look back at the paparazzi 2004, 2005, 2006, 7 when they were following her Princess Diana style. Like, if you guys think I'm exaggerating, search those YouTube videos. They were following her crazy. Imagine being chased with newborn babies, your deadbeat baby daddy just used you and left you. Anyone will go through it. So I think Britney
And
will
she had
be
she
postpartum
had
depression.
postpartum depression.
Yeah,
Mhm.
postpartum depression, and was diagnosed with bipolar. But you see, back then, again, people label her crazy. But now we're progressing. It's years later, and we care that now we care about mental health, which I do, and I'm happy that mental health has become something that's being more talked about and not frowned upon. But now we're being nice to Britney because now mental health has been on the forefront, especially since COVID. But back then it was like, oh, she's crazy, she deserves to be locked
Right.
or in
Right.
conservative. But she will be freed. We see at the light at the end of the tunnel, and I know, things are gonna look up for. So I'm excited.
I
You know,
I feel like she's just like any one of us, you know, like especially. But the sad part is that she's so much in the light that everything that she does, every move that she makes, every argument or every like breakdown that she has is put on the news. How many times have we had any breakdowns after a breakup? I remember like after one of my breakups, my ass was laying down on the fucking street crying. I think about that shit now and I'm like, yo, I was fucking stupid. But you know, like
Paparazzi would have caught you back then.
paparazzi would have called me. They was like, he's having a mental breakdown. Look at him. He needs help. He's in the middle of the street crying. No, I was crying because fucking somebody that I cared about just drove away, you know, and I was dealing with that emotionally with myself. But it just so happens that I was out in the public view. Luckily for myself, I'm not a celebrity, so it wasn't published in every single magazine out there. You know, and I feel like people use that as a way for her to be like, okay, you need to be on meds, you need to be on this, and try to control her and stuff like that. And I feel like her story is sad. And in her last tweet that she wrote when she said, I think one of the lines said something about like the situation killed her whole dreams. Like if my dream was to be a singer and to be an artist, and I was in Britney Spears' shoes, they would have killed my dream. I'm like, I regretted the day I wanted to become a singer.
Yeah.
I regretted the day I wanted to become a singer because of this whole situation that she's been through, and it's just sad, and it's just like.
And what this is gonna do now is
Upsetting.
lawmakers and stuff are gonna take closer looks at these laws that they have in place. So I've definitely been watching the CNN and the channels about this. So I'm happy to see that there's now gonna be talks and maybe a closer look at some of these laws and how strict these conservatorships are. So Brittany aside, I'm happy that we're looking at it and digging deeper into it a little more.
Right.
I like what comment this was. Whoever wrote that, I like it in the chat.
Oh yeah, and you know what? And from behind this, that talks about female hysteria, and that's something that that dates, way back. Men could easily throw their women in mental institutions, and call it female hysteria, and they're going crazy, they're going cuckoo, or my wife wants to get a job. Nope, there's something mentally wrong with her. My wife wants to be independent. There's something wrong with her. A woman who's independent, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah. How about she's just a human being and she's just going through shit, just like every single one of us.
It's times though.
Just like every single one of us go through some shit, and some of us our way of expressing it is at a 10, and some of us at a level 3.
No, because I see like the guys are like really like this, and I want to definitely get your
The guys are talking like they're female.
I want to
experience.
They're talking. Listen, guys are talking. 3 men are sitting there talking about female hysteria, and we're not allowing the woman to talk. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Welcome to America.
See, that was a
kidding, I'm
space
kidding.
moment.
I'm kidding.
Sorry about that, man.
So I know personally about the female hysteria with this famous Latin American singer, Luis Miguel. His mother was sent to a mental institution by the father years ago when he was like in his teenage years, and they never heard of her ever again. Like no one knows what happened to her. She was sent cooped up in a loony bin, and no one ever heard. And that's a story that my mom always told me growing up, about how women were always seen as disposable, and it was always their word against men, and all these laws are always written by men. Anything that women do can be seen as like emotional or weak. So I felt for Britney, and as a Britney fan also, I think her having representation having the right to choose her own attorney is a stepping stone, because now she has someone in her corner that's actually willing to listen, because the previous attorney she had didn't even tell her that she can petition to cancel the conservatorship. So it's a lot of miscommunication, but what people may not think that's a stepping stone, it actually is. It's wild that she has to fight for that, and she's taken 13 years to do that, but at the end of the day, it's like the little light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. So
somebody said something that I feel like it's Jaden said something. I mean, it's beyond her being what?
Go ahead, Ivan. You're good.
Oh, sorry. So Jaden said, I mean, it's beyond her being told that she needs to be on meds from her dad. One of her security guards leaked that her dad would have special drinks made for her to drug her the heck up, which I believe that happened. A lot of the pictures, when you see her eyes look very slow, like somebody that's like, even weed smokers. If you could tell somebody's a weed smoker by the way their eyes move, like they don't blink, or their eyes is just like stare, and that's, I feel like she had that look too as well. Am I blinking? Remind me to blink, guys. Remind me to blink.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something to that about. So her dad's basically got a recipe from Bill Cosby and gave it to her, right? Okay. So with that said, we're gonna go to commercial before I get myself in even more trouble, and then we'll be right back with final thoughts. Yo, wait a minute. Yo, let me just say this. Ivan's wild, okay? Behind stage, Ivan is like wild. And
I am quiet.
This has to come to an end. I should have did a 2-hour special with this
Take
group.
me on the wild side.
We're just warming up. We're just warming up. It's like, it had to, you had to get like remember those old cars, like the old like hoopty that moms had? You had to like, it would like turn over once, turn over twice. Like literally, we're like on the third turnover. Now the engine just started. Like,
yeah.
And that always happens.
I'm not one that was like, where's the after party? Because I just started. Everybody's like, oh, bitch, I got work tomorrow. Bitch, what? I'm ready. Where we going? What do you mean you got work tomorrow? So do I. I'm kidding. I'm not like that.
Anyway, so I mean, y'all know how it goes with the Progress Channel. Once it starts getting like warmed up, we end up, having to end and give final thoughts. So I just, before I give my final thoughts, I always allow my guests to give their final thoughts. So we're gonna start with Charlie, and then we're gonna go right over to Ivan, and then Melanie. Try to keep on 2 minutes, but if you can't, we go a little over time. I'll take the blame.
Ivan, that was for you.
That was for me. I do talk too much.
No. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for having us. It's definitely an honor. Thank you so much. Definitely had a good time. As you guys know, the Inner Circle is on every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We're on Spotify, iHeart, YouTube. Subscribe, like, share. And one of the biggest things that we're really, really, really excited about, we have our first ever live podcast show going down, our first ever one in Providence, Rhode Island, August 14th. Starts at 5 o'clock. The tickets are only $5. If you follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, the link's in the bio. $5. You get a ticket. Raffle. We're giving away prizes. We have food that we're gonna be selling and cooking. So it's gonna be a great show. So hopefully we see you guys, everyone from New England area, at the show.
Nice. I can't wait to go to.
Since I have nothing to plug because Charles said everything, I'm just gonna give you some final thoughts. I want everybody to, it's summertime. Enjoy your time. I know we're getting over COVID, or somewhat over COVID. Don't forget to love yourself, love one another. Remember, we are all in this planet temporarily. Love one another. Accept the fact that we have differences. Stop focusing on our differences and focus on things that connect us and stuff that brings us together. We're always going to have differences no matter what. There's never going to be a time when we agree on each other 100%. And I feel like that's the beauty of us as a human being, as humankind. The fact that we all are different, the fact that we all look different, the fact that we all think differently, and the fact that we all have different ways of getting to a certain solution. I don't feel like there's anybody who wants to see any wrong being put out there. Just people that are misunderstood and people that have gone through tough times and they don't really know how to express themselves. So just try to help one another, love one another, and like Charles said, tune in every Wednesday and watch us at 8 o'clock. Enjoy your time. If you're looking for a time to get away from like the negativity that's going on in the world, and just enjoy your time and laugh and just have a good time, play games with us, tune in on Wednesdays 8 p.m. We're here for you, and I don't know, spread love every single day that you can.
Yes. All right, Mel, girl, wrap it up for the Inner Circle.
What is there left to say? I just want to thank you guys at the Progress Report for inviting us, and also being very open to have another podcast intertwined with you guys and like come in and speak our mind. There isn't a lot of unity, especially when it comes to the podcast community. And at first, I will say I was hesitant in coming in because of the whole politics situation, and having just gotten out of discussing politics for a year and a half straight. I do love the fact that you guys have a more soft approach, and you guys are not as crass and more willing to listen rather than just be heard. So I really appreciate that. And if there's anything I want everyone to get out of this, is just, if there's anything you can be in the world, is just be kind. That's it.
Yes.
Be kind.
Yes.
Love one another.
Yes.
Time goes by too fast to hate or to disagree. If you have a disagreement with somebody, you don't have to like them, but just be civil with one another and just live.
I've never had somebody do two final thoughts, and
I told you I like to talk.
He just had to put it out there.
You gotta put me on mute. I told you I like to talk. You gotta put me on mute. Where's the mute button?
All right, thank you guys.
Wait,
hold on. Dion gotta live his final thoughts.
So I'm gonna give my final thoughts real quick. First, thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Mel. This has been great. You guys treated me so well at the Inner Circle, and I started watching you guys a few times, because of Sean. It started out because of Sean, I'll be honest, and getting to watch you guys flow and do your thing on Wednesdays has been a blessing, and I hope you guys continue. I can't wait for the 14th, but let me give you my quick final thoughts. So I love what they talked about, love, unity, kindness. Recently, there have been several shootings all across the nation. And right now, we can use some love, unity, and kindness in the world, in our country, in our neighborhoods, and even in our own families and among our friends. We can use a little love and kindness. It doesn't cost anything to love unconditionally. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything just to tell someone or show show just support for anyone. And and one of the reasons why I started doing this, we started this podcast, is to show support for everyone and what everyone is doing, to listen, to be a listening ear, to be open, because of the fact that once we have the dialogue and we start talking about those differences calmly, respectfully, kindly, and lovingly, we actually begin to make impact and change in the world. We cannot make change if every single time we're yelling and screaming at each other and not listening. Dr. Martin Luther King says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So my message today is love somebody unconditionally, period. Until next time, good night, Rhode Island. Good night, New York.
I love you guys. Bye.